The children set up a campaign called Animals Matter, and in conjunction with Oxley's, they designed the project in terms of raising money for the RSPCA. They came up with the campaign slogan in line with the marketing department from Oxley's. They also worked with the product design department there and came up with the idea of buying and selling wristbands with the Animals Matters campaign written on it, and coming up with the idea of having an art and craft fair where they sold various art and craft products made by themselves in the school hall, and that was attended by about 200 people in total, including the Lord Mayor and representatives from the RSPCA.
And how did the children take to running their own business?
They loved it. They couldn't believe that they were allowed to go into Oxley's boardroom, and what the beauty of that was that Darren, the CEO at Oxley's, he took it very seriously. So they went in the boardroom and the atmosphere was very professional, and they all had their name cards laid out around the table, and they all had to do a pitch to him. So it's dawned on them when we went in that room that it was so real, and they responded incredibly well. There were children who wouldn't normally speak up a lot in that boardroom doing a pitch, and they were just so proud of them because it raised their self-esteem. It works well with the curriculum because you can do with it what you want. I mean, we tied it into literacy. So they had to write the pitch. They then had to do letters to parents to get them along to the event in the hall. They also had to write to the RSPCA and explain what they were doing and whether they thought that was a good idea. It also lent itself to the maths curriculum because we had a finance department, and we had to work out the profit and whether we were on track and what have you. In our school, we put a lot of emphasis on the independence, and the children are used to picking groups and picking facilitators and personnel people in those groups. What they weren't used to was working in specific departments. So they had to choose. There were 6 different departments, business departments, and they had to choose which children were going to lead those. And that was really enlightening because they recognised that you can be very good at a lot of things, and you can be particularly good at one thing, and you can use that skill to further develop yourself. So they looked at that in a really fair way. They distributed the skills really well. This whole project's got such authenticity. It's got such purpose. You say to children, "There's £50. We want you to make that into a profit, and we're going to use a proper company who are going to help you to do it."
I understand the children also made their own TV commercial.
They did, yes. We had a green screen up, and Mr. Blake, who is a young IT wizard, not like me, and he led all that, and they got into the acting mode, and they made some really cheesy slogans, and there was some really cheesy acting, and it was absolutely hilarious. It was absolutely brilliant, and they hammed it up. And the funny thing is, you wonder what monster you've created because they get so carried away with the selling. Sometimes we've got to rein them in. But yeah, it was very fun. Very good. I mean, we work with businesses a lot, and it's great for business. Any good business gets involved with us. But with the Bright Stars project, it's on another level because the business understands what we're trying to get out of it. So it's a really deep learning because they take it so seriously, and the children therefore feel they really have done it themselves. So this sense of achievement that they got is quite unique, and it's a completely unforgettable experience for them. But just to see their faces, well, we had to go and do market research, and you had 6 children interviewing a group of about 30 employees. What are your favourite animals? They wanted to know what people's favourite animals are, so they could base the art on that. And they just took over the factory. It was absolutely mind-blowing to watch, and we just stepped aside. And that's something you can't create in school. It's just the authenticity of the experience for them. It's got such purpose, and they come away from that realising they can see, therefore, the link between their learning and career. They can see it gives learning much more purpose. They can see a lot more why they're actually in school and why we're doing what we do.
When we talk to them at the end of the project about what they've learned from Bright Stars, they say things like, "Oh, Bright Stars isn't learning, Bright Stars is having fun," and they don't realise they've enjoyed it that much that they have no idea what they've actually the amount of learning that they've done over the process. And then we've done some sort of embedding sessions at the end where we've actually reflected on all of the learning that they've done over technology, literacy, maths, understanding how business works, creativity. The amount that they get from it is absolutely phenomenal.
Your own MD got involved in this project, didn't he? Because didn't they do a Dragon's Den?
Yes, they did. So we've done that both years that we've worked with Victoria Academy. The young people have come into Oxley and done a Dragon's Den where they've pitched to Darren, and Darren's pledged them a reward if they get to a certain budget level. And both times the young people have met the budget. And the other things that they've done when they've come here to Oxley is they've done a market research project. So they went round the site here and asked people which they would prefer, and they used their findings then to develop their creative offer, which is really good learning from a business point of view when you're looking at things like new product development, testing campaigns and things like that. So in 2020 we did creative artwork on different wildlife themes, and we made cakes, and we did friendship bracelets. We were also due to have rubber bracelets, but the young people had ordered them from China, and this year, at the start of the year, the project was impacted by COVID in China, and so it was again a really important learning piece for them to have to adapt at short notice because the product didn't arrive in time for their event. So it was about how do you find creative solutions to problems and do something differently when you're let down at short notice. And the young people absolutely love it. We find that they're really keen to get involved in their team. And what we've done is understand what people's strengths are. You know, some people are very well organised, some people are very creative, some people are detail orientated, and that helps us to understand which team they can go in. But it also gives the young people really good ideas for career aspirations. When if you're a young person, you might go into a shop every day, you know what a teacher does and what a nurse does, but the chances of knowing what a procurement manager does are quite slim. So it shows young people a whole host of hidden careers. So there's multiple benefits for us. We living in Cumbria and working in Cumbria, we have a skills shortage across the county, and if you look at the demographics for the future in Cumbria, we don't have enough skilled people to fill the roles that we're going to have in the future. So it's really important that we raise the aspirations of young people and help to support them into skilled roles. And doing projects like Bright Stars helps young people to understand that those kind of careers are available and raises their aspirations to look at filling them in the future. Oxley's been here for nearly 80 years and we plan to be here long into the future. So these young people will be our future workforce.